I come from a tactical operational background, right? So I listed what are my things that I need to feel comfortable with, or I need to confirm or validate. And then so I checked those off. And then now what? How come I can't make an offer? How come I can't just take action?
Mm.
And it was just fear. It was the fear base of, I don't know if I can do this. And
Mhm.
then the fake it till you make it. What helped me the most is just talking to the people in the community. Like, you know more than what you give yourself credit for.
Hey, this is Niti, and what you're about to hear today is a very special episode with one of the members from our portfolio program.
We call these Sensei Sessions. These interviews are designed to give you perspective about what you can achieve with the right strategies and execution.
I hope you enjoy this episode, and for free resources, check out our show notes section to see how you can build and scale your portfolio.
All right, time now for our $1 Million Club Sensei panels. Natasha, to you. Who are you? What do you do now? And where do you invest?
I'm Natasha. My husband and I joined the program about exactly a year ago. My husband has W-2, so I'm a full-time real estate investor. And we invest in Philly.
What is the purpose behind your real estate business and why you want to create it and grow it big?
So I initially, and I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I was initially in tech for about 13 years. I was a large technology company here in Seattle, and I decided to go to a smaller technology company. And then I was laid off. I'm like, okay, so now what? What do I do? And the feeling that I had in that moment of being laid off, I'm like, never again. Never again. I'm going to do whatever it takes to not ever have this feeling because it's in my control. So that's probably my why, right? Because obviously I have a husband that has a W-2, but for me, the sky is the limit. There's a mental shift that goes along with, can I do it? Can I do it? But the program and the community help get you there, or help you get through those challenging times or these issues or things that you don't know about. So that's my why. And then learning not only the asset building and generational wealth building, but it's also the tools like the insurance and then like the tax benefits. How do we basically go from here to going to here at the same time you're juggling all these balls? And so the program really helps you, I guess, figure that part out. Once you start going on to these calls and listening to these panels and these experts that dive really deep into these tools, depending on where you are in your journey, these things like kind of hit you when you're at that spot, when you're deal analysis, you're like, okay, I need to get my first deal. Now you have a couple of deals. Okay, oh, I need to think about my taxes. So all these things kind of align while you're going through this journey. And it's really crazy how it all comes together depending on where you are. There's always a right time and a right place in this program.
How did you find the Portfolio Mastery community? How did you find this group? And how did you find this group and understand that it was going to be the thing that catapulted you to where you are today?
So I honestly found the group just listening through Bigger Pockets. I listened to Bigger Pockets pretty much every day for a really long time, or caught up on the weekends or whatnot have you. And then I listened to Palak and Niti's episode, and it just resonated with me and my husband, because that's where we were at. We were both W-2, climbing the ladder. We have two little ones. And the more we climbed, the less time we had. And so I was like, okay, I have to look into it. And so obviously Google searched and researched and looked at reviews, and it made sense. And I honestly looked at other programs, and it doesn't give you the warm and fuzzy. And so, I mean, as we research, you compare, you look at what other programs are out there. And this is the program that just stuck with my husband and I. We talked about it. We had our call, and like, no, it makes sense. Everyone is of like mindset, right? Like my accountability group, whether you're investing in Philly, whether you're investing in Florida, like you literally could call anybody any city that's wherever they're investing, and you can still have the same conversation.
Mhm.
It's crazy, because everyone has this energy about them, and I don't know how to describe it. You don't know what you don't know, right? Until you're in it, and it's really indescribable on the personality of the community that Palak and Niti have created. The investor mindset is, there's many of them, there's many programs, but the people that they allow into the program, yeah, it's very consistent, I would say.
What were some of the biggest transformations that you have had working within the portfolio mastery community? And before I get there, I want to ask you first, what are all the ARVs in your portfolio size?
So 4 properties are about 1.4. And it's so funny that when we start talking about like the program and the mindset. So when we did our last mindset or our last goal setting, my goal was to get a multi, and I never purchased a multi, but my third property I converted into my multi. So it's crazy how these goals that you write down may not be what you think you're going to buy, but it just happens.
Yes, just because you said it
Yeah.
out loud and you put that stake in the ground that I'm doing it, and somehow when it comes across your desk, you notice it more than you would have before. Oh,
Yes.
that's amazing, Natasha. Thank you for
That
sharing.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us more about some of the transformations.
My first property, it was technically on the MLS, but in Philadelphia, they have a way for wholesalers to list properties on the local MLS, but it wasn't syndicated on Zillow and Redfin. So it was technically an off-market property. And I literally was visiting my automated emails from my realtor every single day. I'm like, hey, this one's not on Redfin, but this one's on the MLS. So it's like a hybrid off-market, on-market property was our first one. And then the other 3 were all on the MLS. So to your point, Paul, like, yes, I mean, deals happen on the MLS. You
Yes.
just gotta know what to look for.
So we talked about your deals. You have been successful finding them on the MLS. I'm going to ask you about deal analysis. When was the day when you felt like I'm good at analyzing deals. I got this down?
Yeah, I come from a tactical operational background, right? So I listed what are my things that I need to feel comfortable with, or I need to confirm or validate. And then so I checked those off. And then now what? How come I can't make an offer? How come I can't just take action? And it was just fear. It was the fear base of, I don't know if I can do this. And then the fake it till you make it. What helped me the most is just talking to the people in the community. Like, you know more than what you give yourself credit for.
Yes.
Like, look at the models or modules, and you can talk to these newer investors. I was able to talk to newer investors. I'm like, oh, I actually know what I'm talking about. I actually know what these acronyms are. And we personally are our worst critic, right? So you don't think about, oh, these things actually stick. All my notes actually are being embedded in my brain. And so it's getting comfortable with the lingo and building your self-confidence. And it may not be with your GC, it may not be with your realtor, it may not be with your lender, because those are kind of like people that have more knowledge than you. But even within this community, practice speaking investor lingo, because everyone is learning wherever you are, whether you're a seasoned investor, a newer investor, you've never invested long distance before. Just having those conversations helps you get more confident.
Oh, I love that so
Oh, I
much.
love that so much.
How are you project managing with your contractor? How are you making sure everything's on budget, on track, on time? I know it's not always perfect. I get that, but what is your process of management?
Yeah, so my first contractor is on project number 2. So our first one was textbook, with the exception of time. I knew he was slow. So when I did my reference check with him, I made sure that I got a breadth of references, other investors, realtors, homeowners, going from like single family, major remodel to a smaller project remodel, just have a variety of references, which all checked out. And the one thing that I did ask all 5 of his references were, what is his weakest link or areas of improvement? And every single one of them said time. He's high quality, but the time, he's a 1-2 man show, right? So I knew that going in. And
Ask them that question, like
yes,
what's your weakest?
Yeah,
That is a phenomenal question. Like at a job interview, they ask you like, what's your weak point? You ask that to a contractor. I think I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. But I also asked the references to see if they also felt the same, and they said absolutely. And then I followed up, would you use him again? And every single one of them said yes, absolutely. Right. So I had to weigh that part out. And hindsight, looking back, I probably should have gotten another GC on my backup. So he's on project number 2, and it's a fairly large project. We did permits through the city, so it's a very long process. So I knew what his ceiling was. I should say I'm learning what his ceiling is. I'm still in project number 2. We closed on this property in October. Okay, we're now in July. We're about 45% done. And then our third project is a second GC, so he's a referral from the program. I didn't know what I didn't know in a conversion, so I definitely need someone that had speed, obviously, and was very familiar with the Philadelphia like permit process. So that actually worked out beautifully. We had a couple of issues, but thank goodness for contingency budgets, because we used 100% of our contingency budget and was still under our rehab budget with our hard money lender.
What would you say to someone to get them moving to that next level?
Good is better than perfect, right? You don't have to, you can do 80 you can do 70%. If you can get to 70%, do it, because you will get so much more in the process. It's scary. Don't get me wrong, it's scary. You're going to hit your challenges. And then when you hit those challenges, ask yourself, what can I control? And if I can't control it, you can't stress about it, because it's not in your court to push.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom and giving us your time and energy. When you're ready to get serious, you can join us at theinvestoraccelerator.com.
It's like getting 1,000 episodes worth of information in 5 days, and it's everything you need to build your actionable plan to financial freedom and making work optional.